Hello. I want to take a minute to help you understand what you can do if you're out and about hiking and you come across this awesome little plant here. So, this is springtime right now, and this is exactly when this little plant's going to start going off everywhere. You can find this little plant in lots of places, but what is this guy? So I'm just going to help you see this is a baby, right? I'll get up close in a minute, but right now you can see this little leaf, small, and it's very soft and fuzzy. And this is the beginnings of mullins coming up. Mullins is a great ally to work with. So mullins can do lots of things for you, and you use the whole stem, leaf, flower for medicine, and it has so many benefits. But where does it grow? Let's talk about where you can find it, because right now it's spring and it's just starting to pop up in places, right? So it'll pop up around South Texas. It likes the plains a little bit better. It likes a little bit warmer, drier climates with lots of sun. Right now I'm in Colorado, and this is growing up in the mountains as it does everywhere here. And this little seed decided to germinate itself under the cedar tree because there's enough sun coming through. It's getting the sunlight that it needs. So this is just a baby, but you'll also find this popping up all over New Mexico, Arizona, especially in the high desert area. This little guy will plant itself. It usually likes to go to pastures and areas that are kind of disturbed a lot, used a lot, maybe roadsides. You see this plant all over the roadsides when you're driving along, but I do want to caution you, if you're looking for medicinal properties and you want to use this as medicine, you're not going to be pulling it from the roadside. There's just too much diesel and fumes because this little guy is going to pick up all of that. You want to go a little further off the trail, or like I have here, under a tree, away from all the toxins. This is going to be better medicine for you. So, what exactly can you do with mullins? Well, first and foremost, let me just tell you, if you're out foraging and you come across this, generally speaking, this guy can be pretty big. Right now, it's just a baby, and it'll get 2 to 7 feet tall. I've seen some mullins like 8 or 9 feet tall. It can get really big. So that means the leaves get really, really big as well. Now imagine, if you will, a really big leaf, super soft and fuzzy. You know where I'm going with this? If you're out in nature and you need to run to the restroom and you have no toilet paper, this makes good toilet paper. Now, a lot of people have used it. I've used it as toilet paper, but just so you know, it's not exactly absorbent, but it is soft and it works really well. So as long as you're not allergic to mullins, it's going to be great. So that's one use that I like if I'm just camping about. I've also used it dipping it in the river and kind of use it as a washcloth to wipe things off because it's really good for that. But let's talk about these leaves, because the leaves and stem you're going to use slightly different than the flowers. And they'll all have some of the same medicinal properties, but you can get a little more from one versus the other. So the leaves, if you're out and about in nature, right, and you're wanting to use the leaves, you can actually use these as a great poultice externally for wound healing. So I've done this before, and as a poultice, there's lots of ways to make it. Usually what I do if I'm out about camping, like I am now, then I would put it like you're making a tea on the fire, only it's a really concentrated tea, so less water, more leaf. I break it up really well, is what I do for the leaves, and then I'm gonna boil it off until it reduces down to hardly any liquid at all. Then I'm going to pull the plant part, and I'm going to put it directly where I need to, whatever I need to heal. And I usually get a little bit of gauze around it, or maybe a bandana to kind of hold it in place for a bit. The properties that are released during that infusion, if you will, can really help with the skin healing for most wounds. I am careful about open wounds, however, because you want to be careful not to put anything into those. Mullein leaf and actually the flowers are antibacterial, so that is actually helpful to heal up some things, especially if you have a problem, you know, that you think might be infected. Then this is a good option for you externally. So let's talk about how most people use mulleins, and that's going to be internally. Most people are using them. I actually use it in a liquid form, so this is usually going to be an infusion like tea or maybe a syrup. Syrups are great to use it with mulleins. So what does mulleins mainly do? It's known so well for its respiratory healing because it's a really good expectorant. It's really good as an antitussant for cough to really expel mucus out. So if you have a cough, there's lots of herbs you can choose to help quell the cough. But if you want to really help with the mucus, directly looking for something to dry it up and also pull it out, that's what mulleins is going to do for you. The leaves and flowers will both do that, but I really go more toward the leaf for those things. Bronchitis. It also helps with asthma as well because it's going to help soothe and calm the airwaves in the bronchial tubes. So that's another really good use for the leaves, is to help with that. And that I personally would make a tea, but for little guys, sometimes they don't necessarily want to drink it. I get it. That would be better in a syrup for them. So that might be more of a honey infusion syrup. Something along those lines would work really well. So we know this is great for respiratory anything, right? To heal it up. It does have anti-inflammatory properties. Again, that's why it also helps externally to heal up wounds, as well as internally if you have something going on like an infection and now your lungs are getting inflamed, the airwaves getting inflamed. This is a really good option to kind of help soothe it out. This is also why if you have an infection in your lungs like bronchitis, going into pneumonia, mulleins is good because it's also antibacterial. It's going to act like nature's antibiotic. Very, very helpful. Let's talk about those leaves though, because the flowers are a little bit different. They're known to help with earaches. The leaves can help with earaches as well and ear infections. I tend to use the flowers more for my ear infections because they have slightly more pain relieving properties than the leaves. The leaves do have some pain relieving properties, but I go toward the flowers for more of my earache pain relieving properties. So just think about if you're taking mullein flowers and you're infusing those into eardrops and you're helping with inflammation in the ear canals, you're helping with pain relief and infection because it's antibacterial. So it's really good for ear infection medicine. I make ear infection drops out of those all the time, and it's so helpful. It's immediate relief, and you don't have to use those nasty chemicals that you find with either prescription eardrops or ones at the counter, over the counter, because this is straight from nature and it's so much easier. Yes, you can even use those eardrops on little guys. How I use eardrops when I make them, I usually infuse my flowers with fractionated coconut oil because it stays liquid, and that's what you want. You don't want the fat in there. And then I will take it after I've infused it really well, and I might even add garlic in there because it's very helpful. And I will do one little drop inside each ear. I'll get a cotton ball in half and put half of it here to keep the liquid where you want it. Then I take one drop and I literally externally massage it down the eustachian tubes, both sides. Remember, if you have an ear infection, you're not treating just the one ear, you treat both as if they're both infected. That's the rule. So that's how I use the flowers a little bit more than the leaves, but you can do that with leaves as well. Again, this is such a great healing ally. I love this, and this time of year is perfect. What usually happens is these little babies are small right now, but very soon they're gonna have a center column coming out of it. This is where the flowers come out of it, and then the big leaves will come off of it. And it will look very distinct as a column with big leaves coming all around it. And you'll notice it popping up usually in clusters, kind of like this one has started here. And that's how you can identify it a little bit easier. So I'm going to get a little closer so you can see here just a little bit more of this baby leaf. Again, this is baby mullins, super soft, which I just love. And this is such a great ally to use for healing. So hopefully this will help you on your plant walks when you're foraging, or even just how to use this amazing healing plant. Because as I always say, natural health is totally doable.